Hi guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. It's Thursday evening and we're joined by a debut guest. That's Glenn, a friend of Stuart Marshall's, all the way from Somerset. We've got Kaluna on the show as well and my buddy Pat Lawless as well. So we're going to be talking about 3 subjects tonight. If you want to know more, stay with us. Hi guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. I hope everyone is doing well. It's Thursday, and the reason I'm smiling and so happy is because one, we got a debut guest, that's very own Glenn, and 2, Man United played yesterday. And that's initially I want to start off with that because we had a show on it, and I haven't spoken to Kalula about it. I spoke to Pat, but Glenn, we're going to come to you. But Pat, how you doing, man? First, before we get around to our newbies, how you doing, man? I heard you got the call. It was 9 o'clock. And thankfully, you were around to jump on just in time.
Behind this calm exterior is a man who frantically had to get ready in about 3 minutes because I've forgotten that it was on a 8:30 and not 9. I just got used to it. That's the problem. I was sitting in the kitchen having a little going through the internet. It's Gap Code this, Ramos this, next minute Monday. Pat, where are you? Oh no. But I'm here. I'm not out of breath. And let's go. Let's do this.
Brilliant. Kalula, welcome back, girl. How you doing? It's very bright. Looks very Christmassy with your dolls and everything. Talk to us. What's going on in the background there?
I'm getting in the Christmas cheer. Actually, I have a bigger Christmas tree to put up, so you'll see that. I've even got a Christmas hat in the background. Just getting on it, trying to get the Christmas cheer. I actually did exactly what Pat did. I saw your missed call and I went, oh my God, I've got to go to the lavatory because I need to be on in like 2 seconds.
Number 1 or 2?
Number 1. He asked the accurate questions, so I'll go back with the 1, obviously.
Thankfully for that. You're full of props there. I mean, you seem to have a lot of props in the background.
I've got more plushies. Yeah, there you got the little guy here. Yeah, or you guys will end up seeing the evolution of plushies someday.
I need to modernize. I need to get with the program. Glenn, friend of Stuart Marshall, prop guy as well. You're dealing with merchandise. You're doing business with the Man United Agenda, and you're finally on the show. All the way from Somerset. Let's give Glenn a big hand. Welcome, Glenn. How you doing?
But I've got a surprise for you on Monday. You're going to love this. Bear with me.
Okay, I'm nervous now.
It's coming out. It's coming out. It's coming. Football's coming out.
Where do I order this? I need to order one right away.
I knew you'd love it.
And I want the World Cup with it, just to prove people wrong.
And the World Cup, it's coming out.
But Glenn, are you one of these guys who've been dissing Harry Maguire as well?
I've had my doubts over him, very much so. But in the World Cup, I think he's doing really well at the minute.
Okay. So Glenn, it's your debut, Man United Agenda. I know Stuart, when he first came on, he said he was a bit nervous and everything else. But you're in good company, in good hands here. You're under wing, you're under Kalula's wing. And after that Harry Maguire thing, I'm going to be gunning for you during the show. Let's go with this. I want to say hi quickly to Bobby. He's always given that lovely fist pump and the blue heart. Football United TV doing some really good shows. If you watched, there was a show with Molina earlier, and he's doing a World Cup show as well. So big up, Matt. Go and subscribe to Football United TV, doing great things. Stuart Marshall, your buddy there, Glenn. He said big up the debut. He's got the big thumbs up. Big up, Stuart Marshall. Hope you're well. Miguel, how you doing? Nice to see you, Miguel.
I'm Miguel.
Saying welcome to Glenn as well.
Thank you, Miguel.
And, Stuart Marshall. I bet Stuart was behind this as well.
Yeah.
Two
he had
matters.
a little bit to do with it. He had a bit to do with it, yeah.
All right, as you know, we are sponsored by GMS. That's Global Mapping Surveys. You might ask what they do. They assist architects, property developers and construction companies all over the country. They offer a wide range of services, such as setting out topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning and monitoring. And the link will be in the description, guys. So check them out. If you need any sort of major works done, with surveying and that kind of thing, come to GMS, that's Global Mapping Surveys. Woo! Let's get into this, guys. Let's get into this. Just want to talk about the game yesterday, because obviously me and Pat did a show about it. We watched it live, talked about the game, done a post-match show. Go check that out. We played Cadiz. We've been on there for a couple of weeks now on mid-season training, warm weather training, as you see. Klula, did you see the game?
I actually watched a rerun. I saw the second half and had to watch the first half. I do think we were better in the second half. I don't know what happened in the locker room, but I was a little disappointed with what happened in the end. I feel like there needs to be more. We need to try harder. But maybe I'm just a harsh one.
But don't you think it was a game of two halves? I mean, it was like the young team coming out in the second half.
I think it gave them confidence, but I think one of the problems we've got is that it seems like there isn't enough room for youth players to enjoy the game and learn at the same time. There's a lot of pressure on them. So sometimes when they are, I know it's a club friendly, so I'm not going to pass it because it's a club friendly, but it was. But I feel like sometimes when the youth come on, we just want to see them shine. And when they don't, unfortunately, the fans get disappointed. It's kind of like a harsh kind of...
I can emphasize what Kalula is saying there on Monday, right? To one extent, it's a friendly. The kids, they're going out to enjoy themselves. But at the same time, they have to seize the moment. This is their time to shine. You can't come out here and just like Charlotte Shorter, whatever way you want to pronounce it, he's had a couple of chances now to prove himself and get out there. And it's still all a little bit tippy-tappy with me, to be honest with him. He's like Angel Gomez came in. Angel Gomez had a couple of chances, no doubt in both their football talents, but it's all just a little bit too tippy-tappy. They need to come out and either get stuck in or try and get a chance. And the likes of Hannibal Mabry came in, got a little bit too excited, kicked a few players, but you don't mind that. You know, you put manners on them and you keep going. So I do agree with Kalula. What do you think, Glenn?
Yeah, I didn't watch all the game, but it's like Kaluna said, and yourself said, it's time for the youth players to shine, show their talent. It was a bit disappointing, like with the score, etc. But you know, at the end of the day, it is classed as a friendly. But you know, it's a learning curve, and can go from there really. But as you say, most of the big players are at the World Cup. So,
question for you guys: like, obviously, we know how the structure is in the club. You get the youth team, then you get the under 23s team as well. But that's a huge gaping gap from the under 23s level to playing in the Premiership. So, I mean, what should there be sort of a level just behind the Premiership? Should we get a feeder club in the Championship or the First Division? Because these guys aren't playing men's football. And what to me is obvious, the physicality side of things is why Cadiz sort of bullied us in a way, especially the younger players. So do you think with the structure going forward, we should have maybe a B team like Brentford or Real Madrid, the Spanish teams, they have B teams playing against competitive football. Ajax do that as well. They've got a B team. Because it's a huge jump, isn't it? When you're playing these boys level or under 23s level, and then suddenly, as you said, you get a window of opportunity to play for the senior team, and you're not experienced enough to sort of come up against that sort of level so often. What are your thoughts, guys? Anyone, just jump in.
Sorry. No, Glenn.
No, after you.
Oh, sorry. For me, I feel like it's good to have a feeder team, but we need to make sure that we don't always filter people into Championship, because we know that Championship and Premiership game is a completely different story, and we're not going to get what we need. That's why I love the moves to Nottingham Forest that we did with it's different to pick a team that maybe is a middle table or a bottom table Premier League table to move them to, so they're still getting the experience that we want. We don't want to move them to like League One or Championship, and then they can't adapt to the Premier League. So that's only my concern sometimes when we loan players. And we've seen adaptation is a problem where even players coming from La Liga or coming from different leagues, they don't adapt to the Premier League properly. So I'd rather give them to a kind of, I don't want to say in a horrible way, but a kind of lower Premier League team.
Guys, who's been successful on loan? I mean, what would you say is the perfect transition from youth, under-23s, loan? What sort of players would you name that have done really well in that respect and come into, matured at the right time?
Ooh. Well, most recently, the proof has to be in the pudding that your first loan spell doesn't always work out. Omundi Juma came in, a very young player, very talented player. We all knew that as soon as he came in from Atlanta. Went to Rangers, couldn't kick snow off a rope. And now look at him. He's gone to Sunderland, and they're going to make a statue about him. They love the fella. He can't do enough. So I've said this about a lot of young players at the time as well. It's not always about the team you go to, it's about the style of football. And Omundi, you're a big advocate of that. Players have to be able to play the right style of football. So Omundi Juma would be the most recent one for me who I would like to choose to say he's doing a great job. He didn't come from the full youth ranks, but he came in as a young player, played in the ranks, went out on loan, didn't work, went back out on loan, and now he's doing a great job.
Yeah, what do you think there, Glenn? Because you've got players like James Garner, and then we look at Palestri as well. Can't get a game for love or money, and he's been on loan in a first division or La Liga first division side. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's to say, as Kalina said, there's a big difference between the Premiership and Championship. So it's kind of how to word it. I agree with that. The Championship and lower teams are probably not the ideal opportunity for players to go out on loan. But then it all depends on the way the play of football, the style of football. It all depends on actually the player more than the team that they go to. But it's proved that it can be done. As we know, you look in the history books, it can be done. But I think that Man United have to probably have a bit of a restructure on the way youth players come through the system. But yeah, as I say, in the history books, it's been done, so we know it can be done.
Most certainly. I just want to go through some comments here. And this is one I really love because I thought Kobe was outstanding yesterday. I don't know if you guys really saw him in the second half, but what a player. I mean, he's only 17 years old and already he's sort of coming up against men's football, a first division outfit from the Spanish league. He's sort of held his own. I don't know. You guys can talk about that in a sec. Emma's saying, doesn't matter what us fans think, though. They should listen to the manager and play for him, which is true. We totally agree. Stuart Marshall saying, not a lot of talent on show yesterday. Shawshire and Savage, send them out on loan. He's the manager. He's telling us what to do. Stuart also saying, Manu, as in Kobe, looked the best of the bunch when he came on, most certainly, because we've seen Zidane already, haven't we? And Zidane shines. Emma's saying, but Brentford has scrapped their whole youth academy. Yeah, as I was saying, and they only have a B team, which I was suggesting there that maybe United should consider something like that, having a B team, so it sort of closes the gap. Big up to TalkMU. How you doing, man? Thanks for TalkMU. Does so much good work in the background for us, and you can catch him on Friday nights and the Watchalongs. He's saying the big mistake was they went into the game with the mentality that it was a friendly and not for Ten Hag to point out to them that they should be aware that every game is serious. So there you go. I know Ten Hag wants to win every game. And Emma's saying here, it was boys against men. No, Cadiz only have one player at the World Cup. And I think two of their starting defenders are out due to injury. That's correct. So there you go. A couple of standout players, guys. Just throw out some names. Do you think, not just from yesterday, but in our youth academy, do you think are ones to look out for? Just throw out some names, guys.
Well, one that stood out for me yesterday. Well, I have to say two. And even one of them got a torrid time, right? Noah Emran, I thought done very well yesterday. He looked good. He looked strong. He looked like he was ready for that position. And give him a good year in the academy, probably a bit of time on loan, in and out of the first team. I reckon that lad he just has a little bit of finesse about him. He looks like he's ready to go. Another one was, and Amanda, you said it, poor Sam Murray. He got a tough L day there yesterday, right? But I'm telling you, he didn't give up. He didn't throw his arms up in the air. He wasn't flapping, even though he got a torrid time down that side. When he got his chance, he went back up the wing and he tried to run with the ball. So that shows cojones. So I like the boy, and long may it last. Let him get stuck in there and improve and improve and improve. Kalula, what did you think?
So I think that we must be like in sync, like soulmates, because you literally took it away from me. That's why if you saw, I was like, yes, because I was like completely agree with you.
Yeah.
One of the things I was concerned of is that not all the players had the energy and the fire.
Yeah.
To just to go in, run up the pitch, show what. Because if it was me, I'm not gonna lie. You got the guys in the World Cup. This is my time to shine, as I've used that before, and I didn't see it. I didn't see that, and yet, and that's why those players that I agree completely with you did shine, because the other ones were like, "Oh, okay, we're on holiday. It's really nice here. It's really warm," and the other ones were then like, "Let's run." You know, I would have made half of them run after the match, going, "Well, you don't run in a match, so you're gonna run now."
Ruthless. Glenn, she's ruthless, don't you think? Any style for you, Glenn, in the academy, or anyone you saw yesterday?
To be honest, I agree with the other two, really. The shine wasn't there, definitely. But as I said, it's a learning curve. Hopefully, we can go from that and advance from there, really.
It's hard, isn't it? I mean, boys to men, that transition is massive, as we were talking about yesterday. But yeah, good luck to the guys. And obviously, we're playing Real Betis, which is a 6th place team in La Liga. So it's going to be a really tough game on Saturday. But lots of football to look forward to on Saturdays with the World Cup, England, France as well. So we'll be delighted about that. All right, guys, here we go. I just want to say hi to Bargav, because Bargav is saying, here we go, 1 hat-trick and 100 million. As he says. And also, I want to say hi to TX Fate. And he says hi to Glenn. Glenn, one of your buddies?
No, but he is now. At least I've got one fan.
Oh, you're bringing him in. So let's do this now. Obviously, you guys, we follow Ronaldo. We're watching the World Cup. And this guy, Ronaldo, was dropped the other day. And Ramos came in for him. And he's only 21. So he plays for Benfica. And he had a massive impact. So Man United learn of Benfica's January price tag. For Ramos, Man United will have to fork out $100 million if they're to sign Portuguese star Ramos in January. Ramos announced himself to the world in a 6-1 win over Switzerland in the round of 16. The striker started ahead of Ronaldo, as we know, who had to be content with a place on the bench. The Benfica ace more than filled Ronaldo's shoes. He scored a hat-trick as at the Celcio put 6 goals past Switzerland on their way to quarterfinals, where they would face Morocco. United have been linked with Ramos before the World Cup, but now it becomes even more difficult to prize him away in January. CM reports that any club looking to snatch Ramos from Benfica will have to pay part of an astronomical $100 million, a figure close to what Liverpool paid for Darwin Núñez. As CM reports, not only is Ramos now widely considered to be Ronaldo's successor in the Portuguese team, but he could be his successor at United if the 20 times English champions, that's us, meet Benfica's hefty price tag. The outlet have indicated that the explosion in Ramos' price tag is not only because of his hat-trick against the Swiss. For the Premier League giants, Benfica, Ramos has contributed 14 goals this season. Another reason that he now has a symbolic status as Ronaldo's successor. So, guys, obviously Ronaldo's got out. We've always got Stuart Marshall coming in saying, forget him. Talk about Ivan Toney. Yeah, we know what you're
Loves a bit of Ivan. Loves a bit of Ivan.
Let's just talk about this guy. As Bargev says, oh God, do we have to discuss just because he scored a hat-trick? But obviously, if you're on the world stage like this, your price tag will go up. And they do good business, Benfica, man. Don't you think, Pat, and produce good players? Why are they producing players and we're not? That's a question I'm throwing to all of you. And also, Pat, what do you think of him as a player, as a forward for his stature, his running, his moves? What's he got? What's this young man got?
Like, this fella is 6'1", good height for a striker, not too small, not too big. 21 years of age, nice healthy age coming into an Eric Ten Hag side. Okay, what I like for him now at the moment is, well, he's got an eye for goal. He can head the ball. When he's in the box, he can keep the ball in between his feet, but he doesn't get himself tied up in knots, fall over and land on top of the defender. Because we have enough strikers in Manchester United that do that do me head in when we play the likes of a Burnley team who have 11 behind the goal. But what I do like about this fella is, and we haven't seen at Manchester United for a while, is he has that kind of a predator, goal poacher instinct. He always seems to be in the 6-yard box at the right time. And it doesn't matter whether it's left foot, right foot, head. We need that at Manchester United. We haven't had that for a long time. So if we can get this young lad in here, I would be happy. I hope we don't have to pay the World Cup tax, because currently he's sitting at about £25 million, €40 million. If you were to read all the websites, it's probably going to be double that, triple that with World Cup tax. But going by what I've seen, going by what he done in the World Cup, the Don got benched. What did he do? He seized his moment. He came on, scored 3 goals. What are we asking of the young people at Manchester United playing in the friendly? Seize the moment. It's what he did, and that's what I like to see. So, do I like him? Yeah, I do. I'd be more interested in having him up front than Cody Gakpo, but I'd still like to have Cody Gakpo on the Manchester United team.
Okay. Are you impressed, Glenn, with what you've seen? I mean, it's only one game. I can't be honest. I haven't really seen much of him, even in the Champions League. But clearly, he's got a lot of talent. 100 million, though. Wow.
Yeah, I know. 100 million. But it's, as you say, it's the World Cup price, the World Cup tax, and it's everyone's price doubles, triples, whatever. But there was a comment he made that Ten Hag has actually picked on, that a striker is not always there to score goals, and you know he can adapt to quite a lot of positions, and he's got great eye for like passing, movement, being in the right space at the right time. I think he'd be a terrific talent to buy out, but 100 million is a lot of money.
Most certainly. Kalula, over to you. I mean, tell us what you think about this guy.
Okay. What I'll say to you is he's overpriced. There is a lot of other people his age where we could get better. It's harsh being Arenos. Yes, he scored a hat-trick, but it was Switzerland. Let's be real. We need to see something a bit better than that. We can't be spending that much money when we need a right back and we need all the jazz. I think he's a good kid. And I think that if we change the structure of United and get the better mentality, we've got kids just as good there. For me, it's kind of like I salute him. You're a good one, but I don't want him.
But you say we got players of that ilk. But I watched Charlie McNeil yesterday. He's supposed to be our most talented young striker. He got eaten up. He was only, what?
I do it. That's why I'm saying to you that we need to change. We don't want to be spending that much money. As soon as I saw the price tag, I was like, it's kind of when you go in a designer shop and then you go into Primark. So I could get that bag in Primark, like, you know. So
Omundi has the same opinion when it comes to buying handbags. I must say, Kalula.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just being real at the moment. We need to look at it and go, that's not what we need at the moment, to be spending that price tag on someone that also hasn't played in the Premier League.
Yes.
Everyone always looks fantastic until they get to the Premier League. And that's what I'm just going to cough. Santo.
What do you think about Benfica, though? I mean, they produce players. I mean, if they kept all their players, they would be winning the Champions League like they were in the 60s.
But they don't.
Amazing, all the talent that comes through. They had Nunes, they had Felix as well, João Felix, and they get good money for these guys. I think they do great business. Can't we sort of produce good youngsters like that? I mean, we've only had sort of Greenwood recently in recent years, and Rashford, obviously, but he's 25 now. What's going on with our youth academy? I know, Glenn, you touched on that before earlier, didn't you, about the productions line?
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's for a while now that there doesn't seem to be the youth coming through the system, and it's literally chucking money to try and get the best players that we can, but then players get overpriced, and like Kaluna said, you get to the Premiership, one of probably the hardest leagues in the world, and then they turn to mush. So and Man United seem to be pretty good at that, at buying players, and then they turn to mush at the minute. So,
name and shame.
No, I'm not naming names. I'm not naming names.
Kaluna did.
But
He was straight with the job, like.
But yeah, it's the youth system really needs changing at United now, like it was in the old days. You know, with the class of '92, you know, look at all them. You know, you can't win nothing with kids. You know how Fergie proved them wrong. So
Emma Kay's saying here. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say Emma's. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just to say, once you know, maybe new buyers come in. If the club does get sold, then you know maybe the investment to be there to do it. But like I see with Emma, with the scouting department, you know, maybe that's a whole new level that needs to be looked at as well.
Yeah, Pat and Kalula, look at this. These two comments here. So Emma's saying, let's just get Benfica scouting department instead. And she's not in jest. She's like, I think she's serious.
No, I want to hire. I'm going to hire Emma.
As well, Miguel's saying Benfica produce players. They are also currently the UEFA Champions League winners, Youth Champions League winners as well. They're doing something right. Touch those two guys. Pat, Kalula, talk to us.
Like that's like they're like the Notts Forest of the Spanish league, because Notts Forest used to be legendary for producing players. Like you're looking at they sold Darren Nunes. What was Nunes in the end? Was it 100 million euro, 100 million sterling, something ridiculous like that, wasn't it? Like he didn't have exactly two standout seasons in a row. He had 14 goals in his first season, 34 in the second, and he went for what? 100 million, right? Now here we are with this young lad Ramos. He got 8 goals in his first season. All right. Well, it's more, to be honest, so its first season was 4 goals, but he didn't replay a lot of games. Second season, 8 goals with 29 appearances. This season, 14 goals with 11 appearances, right? So it's like he stepped up to the mark now that Nunes has left. But he's not the only striker they have there at the moment. Benfica, they have 3 strikers in there at the moment between 20, 21, and 24. They have Petra Musa and another one called Henrik Aguero. Okay, they just got rid of one striker and straight away there's 3 more strikers in there in the age range of 20. So what's going to happen now? Are they going to sell Ramos for another 100 million and they've 2 new ready-made strikers ready to step in straight away? Like what baffles me about the Premier League is that you have Bellingham, you have Sancho. They were all ready to go. Sancho was at Man City. Bellingham had his chance to come to Manchester United. They all went off to the likes of Dortmund. Because I'm not saying it's an easier league, but it's less pressure. It's more football orientated, more development. So there could be a reason for that as well. It could be the league itself is too much pressure on it. And you get to enjoy our football elsewhere before you have to step up and have that weight on your shoulders. So that could be an element. I don't think it's all Manchester United. I think it could be the leagues as well.
Very good point. Good insight there. Kalula, do you want to add to that? Just to remind you, Miguel saying Benfica produce good players and they're currently champions as well, Europe, based on that as well.
What I would say is Benfica is a business model, and it's a perfect business model because it, like Emma Kay said, we should recruit their department, because what they do is they make something shiny and new and sell it. This is what they do, and then they get their moolah and then continue. Like what do we have? Like we gave Chong to Birmingham City. You know, come on, like, let's go with our move. We don't have that model. Emma Kay, I would recruit Emma Kay because I'd be like, let's go. Let's completely copy the Benfica model, and even if we've got some substandard players, let's sell them off for like loads of money, because I'm telling you now, he's not worth the money.
Yeah. It's so true. I do think Pat made some really good points there as well about the level. Some players, this is what I'm saying. We used to have a Belgium club, didn't we? I think that we used to send people on loan to, and Beckham even went to Preston to get first team football. So I just think it's about experience. I think we've got gems there, but unless they get that regular experience, it's hard for them to step up. And then we're seeing guys like this saying, what are they doing right? What are Ajax doing right? You know, but maybe that is the point. Maybe the jump is so massive to the Premier League that it's hard to get that sort of middle ground there. Anyway, guys, we're going to move on now because there's another subject to talk about. Just for me, that's a no-no with Ramos, not for 100 million, and I still haven't seen enough of him. Kalula, Glenn, what are you saying?
I'm down.
Glenn, on the fence.
And I'm not spending that much money on him.
I'm on the fence on that one.
Okay, all right. Well, it's 50-50. All right, well, there you go. All right, but 2 on the fence.
40 million, and I'll take him.
So here we
go. Just get your hand in your pocket, Pat.
Mr. B was saying it's Antwerp. Thank you. It was Antwerp that we used to have as a feeder club. Bill Badger saying Porto, Sporting, and Benfica have always produced talent and have brought them all through. That's for sure. Emma Kay saying it's incredibly hard being a young developing player. In the Premiership for teams who are fighting for something other than just staying in the Prem. So there you go. So next one we'll talk about.
Monty, can I just make a point on that?
Go ahead.
Could it be because our league is just becoming so big now and there's so much money in it? We don't have the time to sit still. We have to constantly move forward and move forward and move forward. It's not like it used to be.
Well, I do agree because look at Ten Hag, for example. He's come from a club where they can develop players, bring them in, knowing that they'd win most games and their players can get good football. Like, who is it? Their youngster who went to Gravenberch, for example. He's coming through 16, 17, 18, playing first-team football, knowing they're going to win the league majority of the time. You can't afford to do that. You can't bring Zidane in. Zidane was looking fantastic pre-season. You can't, and then I'm thinking, he's going to get games. He hasn't got a game yet in the Premiership or any other competition because you can't afford to do that anymore. So it's really tough. I didn't think about this before, but you guys made some really good points about that. Vincent saying, Madrid, you can keep your hands off Garnacho, you dirty, filthy hands. You're not welcome near our club. Well, that's hinting about what we're going to talk about. But
it's like Mystic Maggie is.
I know, he seems to know. He's read the script. Anyway, we talk about Marcus Rashford because he's another. We talk about our young talents that have come through. He's our golden boy, isn't he? He plays for us. He's one of our own. He's one of our own. Marcus Rashford, he's one of our own. All right, here we go. So Sky Sports reporting that Paris Saint-Germain president has said he'd be interested in signing Marcus Rashford, who's 25. His contract expires in the summer. El Eclipe reported that back in August that PSG were interested in the England international, who's currently competing for the Three Lions at the World Cup in Qatar. However, Rashford ended up remaining at Manchester United, where he rose through the ranks. His contract expires in the summer, although Sky Sports News report that Man United have an option of extending his deal by a further year. Should Rashford be available on the free, PSG president Al-Khelaifi, I can't pronounce that properly, said he'd be keen to reignite his interest in the player. He is another player that is really amazing, and to have Rashford for free, every club will be running for him, no doubt. We're not hiding. We have spoken before. The moment was not a good one for both sides. Maybe this summer. Why not? If he's a free agent, we can talk to him directly, and we're going to talk to him now. Let us focus on the World Cup, and then after January, hopefully we talk to him, says the PSG president or the owner, You try pronouncing that, guys. So there you go. I didn't know about this. When I done my research on this, I was just hearing that obviously he wants £300,000 a week to stay. That was going to be my main question mark about it, and talking about his form and his age and when he's going to blow up and all this kind of thing. But now I'm reading that's just blown me because the president guy, as Mr. B says here, I'll just read this out. He says, he said that PSG president needs to shut his effing mouth. He's really putting it out there, isn't he? That's sort of like tapping up in public. I mean,
you know what that is?
Go ahead, Pat.
Because they're going to lose Mbappe, and they're looking for somebody to replace him. So keep your hands off Rashford. All right? If you lose Mbappe, that's your own problem. Keep your hands off Marcus. He's staying at Man United because he's a red.
What do you guys think? Come on, let's talk about Rashford. First of all, I must say I'm apologising publicly now. I called him Trashford last year. I thought he was done with. But he seems to develop under good coaching. So now my heart's with him again, and I'm a fan again. He seems to be playing a lot better. And playing off the right for England as well, scoring 2 goals with left foot.
Woo!
So it's crucial. We need to discuss this, guys. What are we doing with Marcus Rashford? Aklula, over to you.
No one's taking Rashford. Even if I have to put the airport myself. that's the way I
feel. It's Khalil out in the wrong way.
No, you're not taking Rashford. Rashford is what I love. He is ours, and that is it. Yeah. I love Mr. B as well. I want to do a shout out for Mr. B because he's completely correct. What I will say is that they can say what they want. PSG can go. He's not going to go to PSG, and you know why I don't? Because if you think about it, with Tag, he'd be a fool. He'd be a fool to leave now. He's actually going through whatever he was going through. He's working through it, and it'd be better off that he stays where he is, and he can become the person that he wants to be. Going to another club, he'd be on the bench more.
Like, he's put up with the crap for the last 2 years and the injuries. Why on earth would he leave now? You know what I mean? He's got you the hard times. Now he deserves the good times.
Obviously, me at the passport's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Me nicking his passport.
Especially when nicking off his cap, yeah.
All right, guys, respond to this one. Emma's saying Rashford going to PSG would technically be a step down in terms of stature of clubs. I don't think you would be going there if he ever was to leave. Would that turn your head to all these comments? PSG, they're a giant of a club, got loads of money. They've got marquee players. What do you think, Glenn, about this news about Rashford?
To be honest, Rashford's a true red through and through. So, from Manchester, everything, he's under a good coach now who I think is giving him the right headspace. He's actually enjoying his football, and he's on his way back up. Like you said last year, absolutely useless. I wouldn't have even had him on the bench, but it just seems like over the summer, Ten Hag is literally must have given him a good boot up the bottom and said, right, you got to get your bum in gear, and he's done it, and he's put all his hard work in his training. I remember seeing some videos on YouTube of him putting extra work in training, bulking himself up and everything, and yeah, it seems to have worked.
Pat, I mean, Paul Tierney's saying here there's only 3 or 4 youngsters that can take any credit from the friendly. Iqbal, Kobe, Bernard, Gerardo. Most disappointed with Savage, perhaps. So he's talking about our youngsters. There's not many there. But to talk about Rashford, who is our main youngster, that is the benchmark, I think, for these youngsters to look up to and say, yeah, Rashford's in the side. We can make it. Rashford's 25 now, Pat. He's coming in probably to his best peak years. Should we really fight and give him £300,000 a week to sort of keep him there? Or do you think this is a ploy that we've seen recently with a lot of big high-profile players who play really well till they get the contract and suddenly they dip again?
See, what's happening in the league now, it's just getting dirty. And what's happening is you have the ages of Rashford. He plays the games. He'll go over and he'll talk to the PSG president and say, will you do this for me? Get him in here. There's a possibility I might be able to get the sign for you, but you need to offer this and you need to talk publicly about it. And I might be able to change me client's mind. And all of a sudden, this fella comes out and starts talking crap, all right? Thinking that's going to change Rashford's mind. But look, as I said, he's came through the hard times. We want him here now for the good times. And this is his chance to cement himself as a legend for Manchester United because he has the attributes to play for Manchester United. Now he needs to use them. And that's what we want to see. Under the right manager as well, by the way.
So, guys, do you all think it's the manager that's turned his form around, or do you think it was just other issues just came at the wrong time for him? Because obviously he is playing better now, as we can see in the World Cup.
I think one thing I will say is it's got to be difficult. Even myself that played football when I was younger, social media's obviously got to warp people's mind. It is actually better for the footballers to have an agent to deal with their social media so they're not reading all the rubbish that they get to see. Because really what we care about is footy. Get the football, that's it. Get on the pitch and get on it. But there's so much more about it. Like, you've got to be a diplomat, you've got to be a media person, you've got to be all these other things. And that's not what it's about. What I want is that sometimes with Rashford, I do think that he had issues. He was overthinking. And now I just want him to play football. And I do think Tag is the one. I think Tag's got the understanding. He's got the key. He can talk to the younglings. He can talk to the old people, and he can go for it. And he's kind of like war games, the strategizing. That's how I see it. He's a planner. That's why I love Tag with his little notebook. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. That's what I think for me. I think we need to keep Rashford.
I reckon he just writes love songs on the sidelines, It's just got
album at
Christmas.
Yeah. I reckon he's the Michael Bublé of Manchester, to be honest.
That would be amazing. I'd buy it.
Can you imagine him going around with a suit on, a little toy up to his neck, dancing through the terrace, giving all this?
So the question was asked. I think Rory C, how you doing? Everyone say hi to Rory. It's hard to know. Ollie probably takes some blame. Talk about his form, white dick. Himself too. He needs to take some blame and responsibility.
Run them into the ground was one of them,
Solo is saying we cannot give Rashford £300,000 a week. He needs to take a pay cut. He's only had a good few games this season. Woo!
Solo.
Ooh, Fred loves taking it out with Mr. B. Woo!
Miguel saying kindly smash the like and subscribe. Thank you very much. There's 18 watching right
Legend
now.
Miguel.
Do us a favor and press the like button and subscribe and tell your friends about Man United Agenda. Solo's also saying if Rashford gets a new deal, then Fred should get a 10-year extension.
Okay. Solo. Do you want me to call your doctors in the morning?
Yeah. He needs another prescription or something.
The only extension he's getting is on the back of his house.
I love Solo to bits because he's a CR7 fan, but no offense, Solo. I'm going to call your doctors and hear that music in my ear.
Emma's saying at Solo, surely he can just sign a contract with the same terms as last time. Yeah. Why did you have to have it increased? Stuart Marshall saying here he was doing too much outside of football. That's a good point. Fair play to what he was doing, but United is his bread and butter. Great point. Paul Tierney saying a combination of the manager and Benny McCarthy. This Benny McCarthy we've mentioned a few times. I don't know how much he's had, but clearly has improved Rashford form. Benny, a striker, I loved watching him in his youth. Go ahead.
Can I say something? Do you know what? The last two comments are very good by Paul and Stuart. All right. Marcus Rashford, what he done outside of Manchester United was absolutely excellent, but it could have become too much for him, and it could have become overwhelming, and it could have took its toll on him mentally and physically. And then what Paul's saying there as well, we mentioned it a few times about Benny McCarthy coming in as the striking coach. Look, you don't have to be a superstar to be a coach, and some of the best coaches don't make the best managers. So what Benny McCarthy has obviously done with Marcus Rashford is obviously helping, especially when he's playing on the right for England and scoring goals, when he couldn't even tie his laces on the right-hand side for us sometimes. It broke my heart.
That's true. I think these are good points coming in. A couple more before we move on to our final subject. Emma's saying here, Rashford played injured for 2 seasons, including the Euros. No wonder he had a bad season when his back was broke for the past 2. Remember Mike Tyson said that, oh, my back was broken or thing, I don't know how bad it was. But yeah, nice to get the bottom of that. And I also want to get to the bottom of what's going on with Sancho as well. These things we don't really know.
Yes.
Stuart, request for Glenn, get your dog on, please. This is a doggy show. People will love you. Bill back here saying Solo something, give Rashi a new contract, but not more cash as he's done Jack Doodoo to deserve the cash so far. Here we go.
There is Pepper.
How are we doing, Pepper? See, we've got enough mascots on. Pepper, Pepper, and Pat, you're going to have to get a dog. And Kalula, you're going to have to get a dog too if you're going to come on the show. And one question here before we move on to the final thing. There we go. Woof, woof. Question to the panel. Do you believe that this is the highest level Rashford can get, or can he get better? Basically, has he reached his ceiling, his peak?
Let Pat go. I can see
I
Pat.
think, right, with Marcus Rashford, he needs to have the lads fit around him and playing well this year. He can't improve his strengths and qualities if the striker keeps changing, if the number 10 keeps changing, if the right wing keeps changing. We've seen it in the preseason with Sancho, Martial, and with Rashford. The 4 of them interleague play, swapping around, moving forward. If we had that for 16 games of the season, I'm telling you, we would have an amazing Marcus Rashford, an amazing Jadon Sancho. Martial, please stay fit. I'm sick of lighting candles in the church out where I live, all right? I'm going to burn the thing down if he doesn't stay fit. But I'm telling you, if we can just get a bit of consistency in the team. Do you know our best years when we had our defense of Vidic, Ferdinand, Everett, Neville? It never changed. That's what I want to see up front. Please, God, can I just get 6 months of it? That's all I want. And that's what I think
Rashford,
about
guys,
Rashford.
do you think he's reached his ceiling? Can he get much better? What are you guys saying at the bottom there?
Glenn, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm agree with Pat. He needs everyone around him playing well because it's not just a one-man team. And being the good player as he is, it's a team game. So you need everyone around you playing well. And if he's getting the balls and delivering and everything, then yeah. But I think Rashford could probably go up another level, I think.
Kalula?
So for me, the one problem about Rashford, watching him for years and years, is I want 2 things from him. Look before you kick the ball. How many times do you have to get towards the goal and kick the ball wayward? Dude, you're right there. And then also get more cojones. Sometimes he looks like a lost boy in the middle of a town centre where you've got the antennae going, oh, we've got a Marcus Rashford here, calling your parents Marcus Rashford. He needs to get the cojones. If he could just get the cojones and just be on set and just look before he kicks, I think he can be better.
I do agree as well. I think you can become twice the player if you develop it with intelligence. And I think he's changed his game a bit. He's sort of his pace, electric, but now he's bringing a bit more better decision making, and that's what makes him twice the player at the moment. So I think there's more to come from Rashford. A couple more from here. Want to say hi to Rebel. How you doing, Rebel? Our fellow Irishman from Cork. Rebel, nice to see you, man. He's saying reports are floating around a Gap Post arrival could spell the end of Sancho. That's a tough one. Imagine Rashford and Tony, says Stuart.
He loves Tony,
Tony for president.
And can we say a quick hello to Brush? One of our very own Brush does some brilliant work behind the scenes, and he's very humble with it, and I really respect him. Bill Badger saying Rashford needs to add a bit more finesse to his finishing. Calm down, stop blasting shots. He might score some more. Rashford needs 6 chances to score 1 goal, says Glenn Hoddle. No, sorry, it wasn't Glenn Hoddle. It was Solo. Glenn Hoddle that about Andy Cole. Rebel, Emma's replying to Rebel saying, who are we putting on the right side then? Is Andy going to play every single game? So there goes the squad game. Tony would be the man of the match. Tony would be the man, but he's suspended about 6 months for the betting scandal, says Solo. And finally, Paul Tony saying, United, please sign Gavio, the Croatian centre-back. He's 20 years old and swapping from Maguire. How dare you? Put on the mask for me.
Okay, there you go.
Hey, how dare you?
How dare you?
All right, final, guys. We've got to wrap this up very soon, but here's the final one. Just a quick one. I'm going to keep this really swift. But as you know, Real Madrid, they got a good philosophy these days. It's not about Galacticos. They're buying young players that will develop into world-class players in the future. They've done it many times before recently, as you can see, Vincent Jr., with the 2 French boys they bought recently as well. Good moves. But apparently, they are sniffing around our very own Garnacho. And as you know, recently, the hottest boy in the world right now, at 16 years old in Brazil, is Endrick. As we, we weren't even in the race for him. And apparently Real Madrid are bidding for like 60 million euros for something like that for him already. And he's not going to be available till he's 18 anyway. So it looks like Real Madrid, as we talked about with Benfica earlier, have their own strategy of how to sort of go forward and how to be sustainable and successful. So that's something. But they're just sniffing around our boy. Our boy was born in Madrid. And, they've got Vincent, Rodrigo, Valverde, and all these guys here. So they are already sniffing around him. He's 18 years old. He's blowing up. He's known now because he's been doing bits in the Premiership. So everyone knows about him. What do you think about this, guys? What do we need to do with Garnacho? How do we keep this guy sweet? Do we throw money at him? Do we how do we entice him to stay? Because obviously he's from Madrid. I don't know what sort of ties he has with Madrid. He plays for Argentina. His mum's Argentine. What's going on here? And mind you, there's 20 in the comments. I want to hear your views as well. I will read them out. We haven't got much time, but I'm going to start with you, Pat. Let's swing it, go. Take this away. Take this away, please.
I would say to this young fella, like Garnacho, especially for our team, obviously, I would say, look at Martin Odegaard. You had all the skills in the world. You went there, and it didn't work out. You should have stayed at another club for a little bit longer, and it might have worked out for you. Now, don't get me wrong. Real Madrid have bought some young players at the moment, and they're young players, but they're a bit more experienced in football with the likes of Tuchemende, and they bought Camavinga. They both had a bit of experience before they were kind of thrown in the deep end. And you can see that Real are trying to freshen up their squad. They have Benzema in there, fantastic striker. Now they're bringing in, they're going to be looking to replace the likes of him, Kroos, Modric. So I wouldn't go anywhere near Real Madrid at the current age you're at. You may as well stay at Manchester United. If you want to go to a club like that, better yourself before you get there. And if you're good enough, the club will come calling for you again. That's the way I look at it.
Go on, let's close the show. Garnacho is sniffing around our boy. What are we going to do about that, Glenn?
Oh, he ain't going nowhere.
But no,
nowhere. So I think the guy's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And if they lose a talent like that, then there's got to be something wrong, definitely. But the guy the guy can play football, and the age he's at, he can only go upwards. So, but it's going to be the thing of money. Money can draw players away. But if Man United get rid of him, then they're absolutely mad, to be honest.
What's going on, Kalula?
Kaluna's saying, look, Garnacho, you're with the team. We could be 11th in the Premier League and it's still talking about us. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. You're with us. You've shown your little stuff with us. You're going to stay with us and we're going to look after you. You ain't going nowhere.
How do you entice someone to stay? What's the best solution?
Faithful. I don't think it's money. I don't think it's money because we don't want to turn into like Chelsea and the London teams. It's just money, 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 money. We want to, it's loyalty. It's the youth. We are who we are. We've got the love. We've got the community. That's what we're meant to be. We don't want to be like those other teams. We want to be what we are. And the younglings, we need to look after them.
Yes.
Yeah. My view on it is this. I think I agree. I don't think we should throw money at youngsters. I think we need to entice them to play and stay by being successful. And I think that means by, if we're playing Champions League football, if we're pushing for major trophies, I think they're more than likely to stay. But if we're not doing that, that's when we're going to have issues. And for the last 10 years, we haven't been consistent with major trophies. We haven't won a major trophy since 2013. It's a long time now. So that's probably why we would struggle to keep hold of players naturally.
What I would say is I think we should make Man United a home like it used to be.
Yes.
It should be a home. And that's one of the problems that is lost. We are a home. We are a community. We are love. You're here because you want to be here, because you love this badge just as much as I love it. There you go. That's what we want to do. And it's not about the money.
What? Sorry, Glenn, you go ahead there.
Yeah, I was going to say the thing that entices players is obviously Champions League football, and obviously we haven't really had that. So, you know, the way things are going this season, we could be there. So, you know, everybody wants to play Champions League football. So, you know, if we got the Champions League football, obviously that would probably entice him more to stay, I would think.
I promised that I would touch on the comments, but before I do, Pat, final words.
One thing I'll say about Garnacho is he's grown up here. He's grown up with the current bunch of lads we have. There's no reason why he would want to leave because Erik ten Hag has given him his opportunities, given more opportunities than most players in the team. But what Manchester United have to do now is we have to be more firm. If a player starts holding us to ransom and does not want to be here, then they have to go. But we still need to do everything in our power to keep them. And I think Erik ten Hag is doing everything in his power to keep a special talent like him, as we can see by the amount of game time that he's currently getting.
Bill Baggio is a very serious man and well informed. He says sweets and chocolate and Greg's via VIP card should keep Garnacho at Manchester United.
Keep any man at bay.
Paul Turney saying Garnacho played youth football with Atletico Madrid, so they don't tend to go over to the rivals, Real Madrid. Paul Turney's also saying just rang Real Madrid and told them Garnacho's actually crap. Thank you for doing it. Rebel as well saying here United could come. We'll have new owners in the summer. Garnacho will stay. Rashford contract is out this summer, so PSG could get him could get him for free. Want to say hi? Everyone say hi to Tyrone Williams. Look at that picture of Tyrone.
That is some jazzy picture. That is.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah, handsome devil.
Yeah, he's looking great there, man. He says Tyrone saying the Glazers need to sell the club as soon as possible. Don't like hearing our best players being linked with Real Madrid and PSG. Best players, so already he's one of our best players. TalkMU saying try to convince Garnacho to stay. It's not the right move, as it's not yet. It's not for him to decide how ambitious he is. There you go. TalkMU likes to sort of to put youngsters under his wing. He's got a fostering home. I'm sure he's put an application for Garnacho already. Dale Griffiths, how you doing? He says, I think we should treat every player like we did Ronaldo. If you don't want to be here, there's the door. Big up to Dale Griffiths, by the way. Everyone say hi to Dale. And a couple more before we sign out. Emma Kay is saying Garnacho is not going to play in the champs with Madrid right now. It took years for Rodrigo and Vinny and Valverde to get regular football, so he's fine. Stuart Marshall, Garnacho is going nowhere, and it could turn out to be a Greenwood, which we do. I think we do miss when we think about how talented he was. Don't forget the Europa League or Cup years. I found it actually better than the Champions League. I actually like the Europa Cup, it's the actual league, especially if you get a chance to go into Europe with that sort of by winning it. Responding to Stuart Marshall, Emma's saying he's not going. No, his parents are quite involved. Bill's saying, in all seriousness, if you're 18, playing at one of the top clubs in world football, being us, he shouldn't need to be convincing to stay or be worried about cash. He's still learning, isn't he? And finally, I want to say hi to Steve. H, how you doing, Steve H? Everyone give him a wave. We have no players left at this rate, he says. Paul Tini said, great show. Oh, thank you so much. Guys, I really do appreciate it. As regards to debuts, I remember Rudy came on and scored a hat-trick in his debut, and that was fantastic. But even better than that, I think Glenn has had a brilliant performance, Glenn.
Go on, Glenn.
Glenn, will you come back on the show with us?
I will, definitely.
Well done, Glenn. Well done.
And how did you find it, Glenn? Yeah,
it's good. It's good. Enjoyed it.
As guys, if you don't know, Glenn's a good friend of Stuart Marshall. Stuart Marshall was down staying with Glenn recently, and they're best buddies. Known each other since you were 11 years old. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Go way back. Judging by that grey beard, it's a long time ago. But anyway, we're going to sign out now. Sorry, we're going to sign out now. Love to meet your dog, by the way, as well. Love to see that dog again. Pat, Glenn, Kalula, and everybody in the comments, every single one of you, we do appreciate you. We are the Man United Agenda, and we will be back, as you know, back to 8:30. Unless it's World Cup game, we'll be doing it at 8:30. Big up to me, Mike, as well. Cheers, fellas, he's saying. Big up to you. If you enjoyed the show, press the like button, tell your friends about it. We've been the Man United Agenda. Big up Bill Badger as well for the jokes. And big up to Harry Maguire's mask. Hopefully I can get one of my very own just for entertainment reasons.
Omundi, this one's yours.
Oh, thank you.
This is yours. And you can have the World Cup to go with it as well. There you go.
It could be it could be combined. Come Christmas Day, he could be lifting that trophy. Who knows? Who knows what going on? But Kalula and Glenn and Pat and everyone in the comments, we appreciate you. We're signing out and we'll see you tomorrow, probably about 8:30. So God bless and goodbye.